Okay, so day 3 of the 100 press up Cancer Research UK challenge. This is going to be us getting to the 10% mark, so let's go. Okay, that's 25 done. Maybe felt a little bit easier than the last 2 days, which is great because that's the direction, of course, you want to be heading in if you've got 30 days of a challenge to go. Looking back at the video from yesterday, I think turning the camera around probably helped. Turning the mat around probably helped rather than giving a view of my head. And I guess building on the reasons for why I'm recording this and why we're doing it, I spent a bit more time on YouTube than normal, setting it all up and uploading it. And it got me to think about the sort of role of things like social media, if you call YouTube social media. So I figured that's what I'd talk about today, is what is the role or what is the value of a doctor or any healthcare professional really talking about something online. And I see both sides of the argument, because I guess from a really cynical, insecure point of view, it's really easy to judge and hate and people who are putting their stuff out online. And certainly with posting these, for me, I get a real sense of, what if somebody says this, or what if somebody judges me for putting this up? Like, there is no reason why these videos need to really be uploaded, apart from for my own personal benefit and the self-improvement lessons that I said yesterday. But when you're thinking about platforms like social media and YouTube, if you want to class that under that umbrella, the big value is the reach and the impact you can have on a much greater audience than you can have as an individual without those tools, because of the reach and the scale of them, and I guess the longevity of what you say. So if you give a talk to a crowd, you give that on day 1, whereas if you record it, that could be there for years. So someone 10 years down the line could access this if I don't take it off, if the whole world doesn't change. So there are a lot of advantages for putting your messages out online. Right, let's go for a second batch. Okay, that's 21, so 46 is what we're up to. So I guess that's one value, is being able to share your message wide. But then that goes back to the question of, what's the purpose of that? I was talking to a friend of mine last week who's also a doctor, and he said in his clinic he had a patient come in who wanted to see his online profile. Like, he wanted to see what material he'd put out online, what his opinions on XYZ were, published. And first of all, I thought that's ridiculous that someone even asks that question because it's irrelevant. But actually, I think that is the trajectory that we're moving towards, because there's so much distrust for groups, individuals, I guess because of fraud and scammers and things like that, that there's this expectation of being able to demonstrate proof that you can do what you say, which I guess having a GMC registration and a consultant post is that, but also what your broader morals, beliefs, understandings are. So someone might want to see what sort of a person, what sort of beliefs you have on, let's say statins. That's something where some people have different beliefs in cardiology, in the role of invasive procedures, how up to date you are with recent interventions. And in some ways it's not fair to expect that someone who's a doctor needs to be able to declare that, but I think it works both ways, because I don't do any sort of medical education or any sort of thing on YouTube, but I have a blog on atrial fibrillation, and that's purely done as part of my PhD, initially as a sort of patient education tool. But the advantage I found of it is when a patient asks me a question about the relationship, say, between AF and exercise or AF and sleep, these are things which you have sort of nebulous ideas about, but I've never really deep dived into the evidence of. And so by writing a blog and putting that out online, it sort of forced me to check the numbers, check the data, and really know what I'm talking about when I'm writing something that's going to be online for a long time. So it really helped me. So again, self-improvement. So that's 46 plus 20, 66. Good progress. So that sort of brings me, I think, to the point of divergence, where you can get good medical social media and YouTube versus bad. Because I know to write a blog post, which if you read out takes 3-4 minutes, takes days of research on the back of a PhD, fellowship, masters, all the 10 years of training that I've done in this area to be able to write a really critical blog with appropriate referencing, that when people go online like this and start doing medical education and teaching, you need days and weeks of dedicated preparation to be able to do that properly, or else you're going to be winging it. Because with the camera on, I'm feeling pressure to keep talking, and that could force you to sort of make assumptions, jump to conclusions, try and hit punchy one-liners. I think that's really dangerous when you're delivering medical advice, which these videos are not, right? There's nothing that I would consider even vaguely close to that in what these press-up videos are. But it is something that I think about, that perhaps one day when I feel comfortable that my baseline knowledge is the standard where I think I'm an expert in any area of medicine, and I can just reel off references, numbers, figures, facts like that, that's probably a time when I should when I probably can at that stage consider putting these sort of things online and, you know, recording myself giving medical information and stuff on YouTube and talking on specialist areas. But I think until I'm at a point where I feel comfortable talking freely on that topic, I think it's really tough to move from, I guess, something like this, which is personal use. I would say probably falls under a bracket of conversational entertainment maybe, rather than education. And so I think it's important I stick to that umbrella. Right, so we're up to 66, we're going a bit behind time. Actually, okay, so 66 plus 16. So, 70, 82, right? 82, I think. 82, which means 18 to go. Great. It started off feeling easier today for the first set, but probably harder now actually. But let's just keep going to 82. Let's get it to 90 and we'll have a final thought or something. Okay, there's 9 done, 9 to go. So yeah, I think people who know their material inside out, people who do the research, yeah, go ahead. I think it's a really powerful tool, and I think it's a growing way where people and patients are turning to for information. So I think you've got to provide it, and I think if it isn't medical, so doctors or any healthcare professionals who are experts in that field who are providing it, the risk is you have non-experts falling into that space and filling that vacuum, which is, you know, bad. So in some ways there's a bit of a responsibility to put good information out into the system to filter out the bad. But I don't think there's any obligation for anyone to do anything like this. I think it's the sort of thing that if you enjoy doing, or if you have it and you want to do it, go ahead. Right. Okay, that's my 100 done for today. 10% ticked off. See you tomorrow.